Being that this is the first house I've ever remodeled, I have to say that you learn something new every single time, and you have to be open to new experiences to do something new. You have to be open to exploring the possibility of failure, but you don't fail if you never stop. That's kind of something I think about a lot. Failure won't happen to people that keep moving forward. Persistence. I could tell you a quick little story about this house. In fact, when I was trying to buy a place, I put offers on 3 houses before this. And here's the problem. I liked some of those actually a little bit better. But I was doing this loan program, and I knew that the right thing was gonna show up. But this loan program was, it sounded so good, so good. And turns out it is so good. The problem is lack of communication with the bank, all these other things. It took me 2 years I'm a freelancer, so my income's up and down. I don't have that steady income. Now, I did get the Walmart commercials for 2 years. I directed and edited those in Arizona for a couple years out here. So Walmart technically gave me the steady income that the bank wanted to see, which was really great. But it took me 2 years to make the loan work and to make the loan happen. Now, because I pushed through and I found a house, the problem was I also gave them the hardest loan to do. Not only am I a freelancer and I have a business and I have a personal, all these statements you have to submit, but I'm trying to take a house when normally people just buy a house. I'm trying to take a house, gut the whole thing, and then I gotta put bids together before I even can close on this house of what it's gonna cost. And I don't even own the house yet. So it was a very strange process to kind of make all that happen. But I pushed through. So my whole point for this is perseverance. Don't stop. Take one next step forward. Now here's another thing about it is you have to know what you want. You have to develop a want. You have to have a goal. If you have a goal, you can achieve a goal. I really wanted a house. I needed a house. I needed to get back to doing things. I've been in an apartment for 10 years. I used to have houses, but I never had the one I wanted. I always bought just houses that I thought were, in a neighborhood or it wasn't even about location. It was more about price at that time. And right now, I'm at the place where I want something cool. I want something to live in that's cool. So you got to put your brain to the test and you got to think about it. Now, I did not see inside this house. My main criteria there was a handful of times I was about to give up. I thought I was about to give up, but you can't. You can't. That's the only time you fail. That moment, that's your crossroads. Wide is the path to destruction and many go through it. Narrow is the gate. I think it's to salvation. It's a biblical thing, but it's true. Take the harder path, not the wide one that's super easy and cush. Take the narrow path. Do something meaningful. Design something that you like. Help people out. I don't know. Live the life that you want, but you have to design it. You have to want something specific. And you got to have a high level of expectation for yourself. And then as you get better, you know how to tell other people how to do things. Next time around, if I get concrete floors ground, if it costs a little bit more, you put it in the budget. If it's gonna cost me an extra $500 to have him run the grinder one more time on the floor, you do it. You put the money in when you can't change it. It's like, once I stain this floor, it's gonna be stained. So, long-winded thing to say, perseverance, you can never fail if you never stop. So, all you have to do is make sure you try to really get better at everything you do. Become an expert as much as you can in everything. And once you mess up a couple times, don't repeat the same mistakes twice. And if you do, don't repeat the same mistakes 3 times. And if you do, don't make the same mistake 4 times. But for the most part, don't make the same mistake twice. I try to live that way, and there's a lot of times when I am not necessarily living up to my potential. But I feel that this house was a big blessing. I bought it because I saw the backyard. There were squatters living in it. When I made the offer, the real estate agent was scaring the crap out of people when they would call her saying, "Are you afraid of dogs? You can't go inside the house because these squatters live in there and they have a dog." And I told him, you know what, it has a big backyard, big enough to where I can do stuff. That's gonna be my next series. Wait for that one. That's gonna be next year though, but it had a big yard, 9,500 square feet. I could do some stuff with the yard. I could build some stuff back there, put a pond or whatever. So I told them, I made an offer and I said, if you want to take my offer, then I'll look inside the house. And I'm not worried about there being people or a dog. I mean, if it's a huge dog, but I think it was a little teeny dog. Anyways, so I made the offer. $95,000. They listed it at 100, and it was in bad shape. But I offered $95,000, and I asked them to give that $5,000 to my closing costs, to buy down my interest rate. So, and then the bank matched that $5,000, so I got $10,000 to buy down my interest rate. And then I added another $2,500 to that mix, so there's $12,500 to buy down my interest rate. It kind of just started adding up that way, and I had to come in with just closing costs, which is about another couple grand. So I was out of my pocket about $5,000 total. But I bought my interest rate down to 2% fixed for 30 years. So if that's not God hooking it up, I don't know what is. The banks do not want to give you a 2% interest rate for 30 years, but I got it. So I feel very grateful. I bought this last November. I bought this 11 months ago. I closed on it, and it took me 2 years to buy it. Perseverance. You got to keep pushing forward. I got a job that took up all my time, and I couldn't even spend my time here anymore. So I had to have contractors come out and do some work while I'm not here, which is like, I kind of want to be involved in it all, but I had to get a job. Well, I wanted to get a job. That's why I got a job. I got a really cool job too. I just produced a TV show, 8 episodes, and they're turning out pretty good. That's another thing. I'll tell you guys about that later. But yeah, so it took me 2 years to close on this place, to find a place and close on it, and then it's already been 11 months. Because I gutted the whole thing, and I mean, there's a chance if I'm funded, but the bank has the money. That's the other thing. They put $40,000 in the loan, and then I got to do all this paperwork to get it out. And I'm doing all the work here, so it's a pain in the butt. And I'm paying payments on that money that's sitting in the bank right now that they're not giving me, so I have to use my own money to do this and have them reimburse me later. It's very interesting how it all works. But nonetheless, I got a job that's basically been funding this, so I can get paid back at some point. I think my goal, talk about setting goals, is to have this place finished by the end of the year, which means it would have been 1 year and 1 month to finish this place. 13 months. So, yeah.